Is A-okay with that? Okay. The second letter is a completely different topic, and in fact, a more joyful topic. This is related to our investment of ARPA dollars in economic resiliency in our community, strengthening economic resiliency, and are supporting a grant application from Centro Cultural for enhancing financial literacy for Latine entrepreneurs in Washington County. So, any questions or thumbs up? Yeah. Terrific. Yay, we got that done. So let's get the other one done that I usually forget. And that is checking in on today's meeting agenda. We have a proclamation. We have 4 different public hearings and then 3 action items that are all related to Ordinance 901 and 902 related to significant natural areas. Does anyone have any questions on any aspect of that? Nope. Okay. No. Okay. So let's see. Also, I just wanted to bring to your attention at the end of our prior Tuesday meeting, after our public comment, I had asked Ms. Duke Dreesen a question with regard to elections and election processes in our home rule charter. So she gave us the response, and then afterwards, Mr. Bob Terry asked if he could get her response in writing, which she provided, and she had also sent it to us early evening yesterday. So I just wanted to make sure that you all had that. Okay. Okay. Board and leadership communication. Who wants to go first?
Jerry does.
I do.
He's got this slick handout for us.
I do.
Oh, it's all about money.
Well, no, this is actually, I'm going ahead for, so I'm here to use.
Salmonberry Trail.
Salmonberry Trail. This is, last week I had Salmonberry Trail Intergovernmental Agency Retreat on Thursday. That's where I went. Friday, midday from Clean Water Services was the Salmonberry Trail Foundation retreat, was to discuss what we discussed the day before in the agency meeting. So that was an important meeting. There's a lot of things going on, but this is kind of hot off the press. This is our capital campaign program. And, I just want to say thank you to Stephen and LUT, because inside you can see the financial opportunities that you have. And he gave us $1 million. But what a guy that LUT is, I tell you.
Out of pocket.
So, yeah. Stephen, set up. I'm not going to take a check from you, I'll tell you that. But anyway, so no, this is just an update on what it is we've been doing, and a snapshot of the trail and everything else. It's pretty cool. So I thought maybe all of you would want to get caught up a little bit on that. So last week we had the jail tour. It's very cool. So thank you very much, public safety folks. There's none here, but that is always a very revealing thing. So I'm glad that we get to do that once a year and learn about how the intricacies of being incarcerated. And yeah, that's always eye-opening for me. Attended the Hillsborough Prayer Breakfast last Wednesday morning, and I don't know if you know this or not, but Mayor Callaway passed out and was taken to the hospital.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. He just came back from a couple of weeks, I think, in Japan, and had been traveling a lot, was tired, did not eat that morning, and his body just said, okay, you're done. Yeah. So yeah, he was fine. They just went and checked him out and then sent him home. So
that happened
That was it.
Yesterday?
Hmm?
This is happening yesterday?
No, last
Oh,
Wednesday.
last Wednesday. Oh, wow.
What is today? Tuesday, last Wednesday. Yeah, at the prayer breakfast. Yes. So of course, so yeah, we sent him our best and he has responded back with, he's just resting. I think he has to, stay home for a week or something like that. So also had a check-in with, GPI President Monique, and she just, we meet every couple months. She gives me an update as to what GPI is doing. Then met with.
What are they doing?
Well, they got a fairly significant grant from the state of Oregon last year, and I can't remember if it's 5 million or 2 million. But and they're putting that into a program yet to be determined. Of course, they had to apply for it, so there was some details, but I can't remember what those were, and they'll get back to us on this on the next board meeting. I think they have also an all-day leadership thing coming up pretty shortly. So I'll be sure and attend that, and then I'll be able to tell you what they're doing. Met with Alan Taggart, who's the 4-H leader, and one of his constituents, talking about 4-H and maybe how we can make some opportunities for them to have more of the cloverleaf, or at least one of the barns during the year. So we are working on that. I've asked Ann to reach out to Leah and have that conversation. See what else is interviewed for 3 positions on the PSCC board yesterday. And we had 3 applicants. And so that information will come to you in the next few weeks, I'm guessing, for our approval on that. Was at the Cornelius City Council last night. Sorry, I missed Acre. And gave them my quarterly update. And that was a good conversation about a variety of things. And that's all. 21 seconds. There you go.
That was a lot. I'll go next. Okay. So nobody's fighting for it.
Jumping up and down.
So, I too went on the jail tour and really enjoyed that opportunity. And I think, I appreciated the fact without, not sure what his title is, but David Marzilli, not being there, that the sheriff stepped in, and it was really interesting to
Jail commander.
jail commander. Thank you. It was really interesting to get her perspective, and I really enjoyed the on-site discussion about indirect versus direct supervision and the explanation there. I thought that that was really, really important. On Wednesday, I spent the whole day at the Muslim Education Trust for the Building Bridges event. It was a good event. There were 4 panels that were presented, and we had representatives on many of those panels, including the sheriff. So it was very interesting. Focus on a variety of issues: youth education, hate crimes in our state, and other issues along the way. On Thursday, I had my regular scheduled check-in with Chief Deputy Al Roque. Learned a lot there. And on Friday, I was at the CWS Learning Day. Thank you very much. It's always interesting, and the lab piece was particularly interesting. Yesterday morning, I had a check-in with Mayor Beatty and also with Camp Shuey, the Executive Director of Community Action. Last night, we had our ACRE meeting, and we got an update on several of the county programs. Aaron Wardell and Ken Renter did a really good job of presenting what and how we utilize the equity lens in looking at MSTIP projects. So that was well received and really good interaction with the team. Several of us here were there last night, and also Shannon Wilson did a presentation on the con plan. So that was good. I will say that Barry Johnson Smith, participant in ACRE, was also at the Building Bridges event and came back to ACRE and suggested that we have a presentation about the hate crimes process in Washington County. And there was agreement around the table that that would be an interesting thing. So it was good to see that type of community interaction. Thursday is our roundtable day. Obviously, I'll be here for that. And Friday night, I'm going to the screening of the film No Place to Grow Old. It's put on by both New Narrative and Here Together. Saturday is also another full day. I'll be on a panel speaking at the St. Anthony Church for their housing justice event. I'll be there with Majority Leader and Rep. Ben Bowman, Metro Councilor Garrett Rosenthal, and Mayor Heidi Lu. They called and asked if I would participate in that. The last thing I'd like to say is that last night, in between here and Acre, I was going over to Costco for just a little something. And I went outside and talked to the ballot box folks that were standing out there, and they were really having a nice time. It had a real community feel to it, except that they needed dog biscuits because a lot of people walk their dogs, drop their ballot off. So when I was over at Costco, I picked up a Costco size dog treats and brought it back so that they had those. So I'd encourage everybody to go out and say thank you for the work that they're doing at our ballot box. It's pretty amazing. And thank you to everybody for your work on it. And especially a big shout out to our elections office today.
Mhm. I'm having more fun on Friday and Saturday than you.
I suspect you are.
I'm playing in the Veterans Pickleball Tournament.
Oh,
Oh,
Do I even know how to play pickleball? No.
pick me.
Do I know the rules?
Yeah, you
No.
Yeah, that's the job.
Ken can give you a lesson.
Yeah.
Actually, my 10-year-old grandson said he'd give me a lesson.
I'm next. Okay. I got tag. I'm it. Commissioner Rogers. Happy Election Day. I am really excited for tonight, and I hope everything goes well. I'm a little bit anxious, and I left all my notes this morning at home, but I have two kids that are not at school today because they're getting over sickness. So luckily, I was able to call my house and get some notes texted to me. And thank you, Brenda, if you're in the room, for printing it for me. I was able to text, thank goodness, for staff. And so I will rely on my paper here and then some of the my phone here on what others I've missed. But for the 4 minutes I have left, one of the things I appreciate about AOC's steering committees is you get visibility to Oregon departments that impact county services and county residents. And before or since our last meeting, I was able to attend the local government steering advisory committee for Association of Oregon Counties. And we were able to meet and OHA, Oregon Health Authority, the Public Health Division has a new director. She was able to join that meeting and do a quick introduction, and her name is Naomi Adeline Biggs. So if you know, you know. If not, now you know. And then the other great updates that we got around Oregon Health Authority Department, we received an update from the OHA team on 1115 waiver benefits, which now includes support for community-based services addressing behavior and physical health needs, which I thought was really great news. So they joined that meeting to talk about how they're going to implement that. And then the other update that we got, as you can imagine, is budget season, or starting the budget seasons for everyone. That means OHA Behavioral Health team joined the meeting to talk about the governor's recommended budget development. And they specifically focused on policy option package 556, which is a funding designed to expand certified community behavioral health clinics across the state, and which means that OHA is expanding the certified community health behavioral health clinics to 15 clinics within the first year. So I thought that was really a great news. And one of the things I appreciate from that conversation, and this is something relevant to our government relations team, is that workforce retention and administrative infrastructure was elevated in that discussion to point out that this is going to be a focus. And then if you're wondering what is the purpose of that, this meets the goal for by 2030 statewide behavioral health coverage. So the goal for Oregon is by 2030 there will be a statewide behavioral health coverage. But obviously, nothing is as in government is simple as, you know, we're going to do this, we're going to expand 15 clinics, but so that means Oregon Health Authority is going to seek a federal approval for state plan amendment. And then hopefully by October 2025, we'll have the implement effect. It will go into effect. And then now the other budget can be the other budget related issue that we got. Now I'm going to rely on my phone to pull out that document. Is we received crisis stabilization centers. As you know, where's my notes? There are 4 crisis stabilization centers, but there are 9 more that are planned. And one of the things that OHA team did really well in that discussion was elevating that, you know, these 4 that exist currently have funding challenges, and that it's going to take a collective effort to really get the funding we need. And then one of the other things they elevated is that some of the improvements that they're doing on their end, such as developing a new rule to enhance services and public engagement, so that there's collective effort that we're in it together to really improve crisis care access and reduce dependency on emergency services. So those are, oh, wow.
Those the mental health crisis stabilization centers.
Yes.
And
Yes.
where are the 4 located?
That's a really, where are located? It's in my notes. I did not. No, for the sake of time, let me send that information to you all, where they're located right now, and where I know for sure the 9 clinics that are in the, okay, I'll send you the PowerPoint presentation to the whole board where they are. But that's a really good question, Chair Harrington. I should have elevated that information on my notes, but we'll find it and I'll send it to you. That was misspeaking. And then let's see. Yeah, I think I'll end right there and just say good luck to democracy today.
How about you, Commissioner Rogers?
Certainly, nothing as elaborate as everybody else, but I don't know that it's good luck to democracy. It is democracy, so. So about those elections, I think it'll be that way, hopefully. Thank you to everyone over at Clean Water Services for the learning day. It was my last one with you, and I got that once again, you did a nice job in terms of trying to officiate it. Your staff always does just a professional job. They have so many topics that they deal with. I think Brad Anderson yesterday said it well. Credit to me, but maybe not as many issues as the county would have, but each one of them is about a mile deep. And so there's a lot of very intricate issues in regard to clean water services. Tanya, you'll be into that budget process after I'm gone, but one of the things that I noticed in a couple of the negotiations, which congratulations, I think they went well, dealing with some contracts today and about what the market is. But as I recall, Greg Munn's projections, he wasn't planning on all the first pickup and he wasn't planning on some of the other things that are in there, at least in his analysis that he displayed. If they were in there, I guess I wasn't aware. He didn't tease those out. But That's just something that I think we all should be aware of, that maybe some of our estimates are going to have to change just to fit with some of those negotiations.
So that was a scenario that was presented. Mr. Munn and I had presented in the last roundtable. And Mr. Munn was included as part of any of our union negotiations.
Was that part of the 4% scenario that he had, or?
They're separate
They're
scenarios.
separate scenarios.
I know
And
that, but the one,
we'll dive into that tomorrow, Roy. So, or Thursday. Thursday. Yep.
okay, all right. Great. Nothing more.
Terrific. Well, I don't have a lot to say because we've been spending a lot of time together in different meetings. You know, from our day on Tuesday to the building bridges on Wednesday, Thursday, you know, first time I've worn a Halloween costume in decades, and there was lots of picture taking, and it was fun, fun, fun. So I'm really glad I did it. I had a good time. Let's see. Friday, we also had the CWS day. So that brings us to Monday. SHS Oversight Committee, long meeting. They had the presentations of the 3 different county annual reports. And so they are working on the annual report to the Metro Council. So, and then just some constituent meetings and miscellaneous stuff. So really looking forward to pretty straightforward week this week, as most of the counties in the nation focus on election day and ballot counting. It is election week, and I have received text messages from family members in multiple states, and turnout is looking very positive. So that's a good thing. So I am anticipating, subsequent to my having had a meeting with Bob Terry and one of his colleagues, Mary Chalk, on Thursday, that we will also have an active public comment period again today. Yep. So that'll be fine. We'll follow through on our 2 public comment periods as posted and go from there. So that's it from me. How about leadership communications?
Good morning, board. I almost said afternoon since we have it. Usually do leadership. in the afternoons, but fast forward to all the work we have ahead. So yesterday, I was at the PGE Integrated Emergency Operations Center in Tualatin. This was the first time, just with schedules, that PGE staff and Washington County staff could come together in a meaningful way post ice storms. Other members of the team that were in attendance were Aaron Calvert, John Wheeler, Philip Bransford, and Stephen Roberts. We toured the center and through the tour really focused the tour on reflections of the ice storm and how we can be better, as we are both serving the same constituency and we both have limited staff resources. So we will be doing a follow-up operational tabletop exercise at Washington County's EOC so we can drill down into what it could look like in an event, because our weather-related emergencies are becoming more frequent. So some of that is ensuring that we have clear relationships with staff. Just as every organization has turnover, how do we have that communication on a consistent level, determining how we potentially embed staff in each other's EOC, depending on what type of event it is, and also how we work with WACA and dispatch to make seamless connections between 2 entities. So more to come after we work through the tabletop exercise, but it was a good kind of operational and how do we improve our operations communications board.
One question that I have, I saw the in Friday Facts, LUT Friday Facts, the not the PGE thing, but the the Washington County organized prep meeting. And I was curious as to if someone from Housing Services had attended, and I understand they haven't or didn't. And the reason that I'm curious is that we've opened the Aloha Safe Rest Village, and this is the second, at least the second winter of upcoming of the Conestoga huts as well as the pods at Hillsborough site. And then later this month, the Beaverton Permanent Shelter will be opening. So we have some slightly different setup. And while we don't run, we're not responsible for any of those facilities. They are supported through contracts. And I just want to make sure that folks have gone through the thinking versus in the moment, oh, how do we make sure that the sidewalk at the shelter is clear, or, different ice storms, if power goes out, all that jazz. So I figured I'd better at least raise to make sure that there is a little bit of advance planning done. That's all.
Yeah, thank you for raising that, and staff will follow up. Chair, for members of the public that may be listening, let me just add a bit more context of the event that the chair is talking about. Last week, about 10 agency partners attended the annual winter operations briefing at Walnut Street Center. The annual event is sponsored by Washington County Emergency Management and LUT Operations and Maintenance Division. And so we are one community, and we're an integrated community, especially at the time of disaster. So I'll take that feedback back to staff and follow up.
Yeah. No one needs to get back to me at all. I just want to make sure. I can imagine a situation where in any of that suite of centers that it's like, oh, okay, well, we need a little help. And so just know that there are folks here at Washington County that can help problem solve and who to call for that. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as several of you mentioned, it's elections day. So I have to give what I know as of now on an elections update. So election turnout in Washington County is going well. There's no major problems that are being reported so far. As of yesterday, about 47% of registered voters cast their ballots. That amounts to 189,000 ballots received so far. Our election staff anticipates another 100,000 ballots could be received by the time the election certifies on December 2nd. For reference, the 2020 general election turnout in Washington County was 84%. This means that tens of thousands of ballots could be coming into our elections office today. Great work is being done by our election staff. I know your board has received several questions, and right now I've directed staff to focus on elections to ensure that we have safe and secure elections and integrity of the system, as they need to be busy processing ballots and delivering those results. I also want to lift up the important work of our law enforcement partners, including our own sheriff's office, in making sure this election is safe and secure. The sheriff's office and our city and federal partners have been working in cooperation with the elections division for days now. This includes increased patrols and other measures to ensure safety throughout the elections process. As you know, no ballot boxes in Washington County have been affected by the kind of ballot box incidents that have been recently reported in Multnomah and Clark County. Just as a reminder, the Elections Division plans to post unofficial results to the Secretary of State's election results website just after 8 p.m. tonight at 10 p.m. and then at midnight. So 8 p.m., 10 p.m., and midnight. After that, the plan will be to post results each Friday by about 4 p.m. until the certification deadline on Monday, December 2nd. We'll post that address prominently on the county's website closer to 8 p.m. tonight, and we can email your board about this later today. Finally, I'll point out that the tabulating process can take some time. So we'll all need to be patient as the election staff completes the work required of them by Oregon election law and rules. Please feel free to reach out directly to Marnie Kyle if you have any questions during this process. She will actually be at the elections office this evening with staff. And that concludes my update.
I have one question. And I don't even know how to define adequate, but I'm going to ask you, is there adequate amount of space that we're not going to hear a week from now that people who wanted to observe couldn't observe?
In the observation room. So the observation room, of course, is a room.
Right.
However, staff do have contingency plans as far as helping rotate people in and out of the observation room so that all have the opportunity to observe.
See, it has to be reasonable. I don't, 100 people show up, you have room. So I at least I never saw that room. But you've got some plan and then,
And this was one
Just
question.
anybody come in, or do they have to have any sort of credentials or any sign up in advance?
Anyone can come in and observe. I could come in and just observe as a community member, not as a county administrator, just as you could as a general community member. And there is an election staff member that is present in that room and answering questions of community members. I know Dan Forrester, when some members of your board had a tour of the elections office this fall, that was one of the questions and answers that had came up is just what are those mechanics to ensure all have the ability to view within the space that we have.
And I want to thank my other colleagues who joined in that tour.
Good morning, Chair, Board. I do have a litigation update for you. Over the last couple of weeks, we've communicated with you about a case called Clay and Sanchez versus Washington County. These are actually two separate cases of alleged discrimination against our Washington County Sheriff's Office by Metropolitan Public Defenders, former Metropolitan Public Defenders. The case has been rather contentious with a lot of motions and objections just as we're getting really into the early stages of the litigation. However, I did want to let you know that yesterday our Washington County team led by Vamshi Reddy had a win when we successfully defeated the plaintiff's motion to move venue to Multnomah County, so this means the case will be heard here in Washington County in front of a Washington County jury, which is, I think, a really important thing and an important win. So I just want to give you that update because that just happened yesterday. We do have a lot of trials that are on the books for early spring. So we are going to be in front of your board over the next couple of weeks in executive session a few times to give you some updates and so you can be on the journey with us. That's it for me.
Great, thank you. Ms. Edwards.
All right. Well, good morning, Clean Water Services Board of Directors. Want to thank you all for sharing your time with us on Friday at our board learning, and also to our director-elect for spending his day there too. We covered a myriad of topics, from highlighting our research and innovation teams, recent studies, to updates on our class and comp process. So covered a lot of different materials, and thank you for your patience during the day on Friday. Our next board learning is going to be Friday, February 7th. Next week, our Clean Water Services Advisory Commission will be convening for their last meeting of the year. That will be Wednesday, the 13th, at our headquarters administrative building just down the street here. And they will receive an update from our CFO on the budget and also get a foundational presentation on stormwater. And that's it for us.
Great. Anything else before this morning's business meeting? We've got just two big topics for this afternoon, so hopefully everyone will be able to get home safely before it's dark, as we all turned our clocks back. And even that clock is right. Don't know if I have Philip to thank or someone else because Philip's been going around and correcting a lot of clocks. So,
I think Mark might have done it.
oh, our great IT guy. Great, great. All righty. Well, we will pause here and then reconvene at 1 o'clock. Thank you.